If you are receiving this transmission, you are the resistance, declaring war on the New World Order. TruthRadioShow.com.
Live from the world headquarters of 990WBOB.com and the original 13th colony, spreading truth and slaying lies, a one-man gang in a war to restore freedom and liberty. Dan Bidondi.
All right, everybody, welcome to the Dan Bidondi Show right here on 990WBOB.com, Renegade Radio, and today is Tuesday, October 27, 2020 edition of the Dan Bidondi Show right here at 990WBOB.com. And the title of tonight's broadcast is The Coming Digital Currency, the NWO Cashless Control Grid, and exactly what's going on. And here's the thing, too. Nobody's talking about this. I mean, you don't even, if people keep up with finances, stocks, and all that, that's the only people in the know. But no media is talking about this. This is huge, and nobody's talking about it. So we're going to bring a guest on in a few minutes. He's a financial expert. His name is Rhode Blackwell. He used to work with the big banks and everything else. He knows money. Okay, so we're going to bring him on to talk about this because this is huge. I mean, if you don't know what the digital currency is right now pending in Congress and the House and everything, both bipartisanship support, is 32 cryptocurrency blockchain bills, which is the digital currency. It's called the central bank digital currency. You'll hear that a lot. And this is huge. And we have several nations. I mean, not just the United States. This is going huge right now. It's a new big thing. And I'm just going to run over some headlines real quick. And you got the central bank digital currencies have the power to upend global finance. This is all financial reports, right? Cryptocurrency, coin bank, and everything else. And you got Central Bank of Bahamas launches landmark sand dollar digital currency. So last week, the Bahamas officially the first country to launch a complete digital currency society. It's a cashless society where your coins and money are going to be, you can't use them. You have to use the digital currency. And they're using this in the guise of the pandemic, the COVID-19, the so-called chain shortage and everything else. And we've got another article here. Will the Federal Reserve issue a digital currency? And you have the chairman of the Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell, saying we need to get on board with this digital currency because China's about to move. They've been doing beta tests, known as pilot programs. Again, the Fed share here, 80% of global central banks consider digital currencies. They're considering it. You got the Swiss bank, BIS, plan to test digital currency by the end of the year, this year. And you got Reuters is talking about pandemic accelerates the need for consider digital currencies. Bank of Canada talking about this, guys. And you got Digital Rumble. Russia unveils plans to test central bank digital currency this year, too. 50,000 shoppers were given last week or 2 weeks ago or whatever. 50,000 shoppers were given digital yen in its biggest test, which is a pilot program. And one more article before we get to Rhode Blackwell. You got Quartz talking about there are already counterfeit wallets of China's digital yen. So what's going on here? You know what I mean? Then they are moving, and why everybody's worried about the elections, everybody's worried about this, that, the other thing, the judge, being picked and everything else, and this is going right under the table. Nobody's talking about it. And before I bring Rob back on, and I just want to run this over because, and I'm not saying this is the mark of the beast, guys. This is one of the components for the mark of the beast, one of several components. And let me read it. Revelation 13, 16, 18 says, and he causes all, small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man may buy, sell, or save unless he has the mark of the name or the number of the beast, and it's 666. So, and if you actually want to, if you're listening right now, check this out. Okay, it's ID2020.org. ID2020.org. It's with the vaccines. They want to, basically have everybody noted who's got vaccines, whatever the case. Let's talk about implantable microchips, digital ID, and yes, the digital currency. All these three components, three separate components that will eventually morph into one called our Mark of the Beast, which will be our RFID radio frequency identification device implanted into your right hand, just like Scripture says. But without further ado, got Mr. Rob Blackwell here, financial expert. Hey, Rob, welcome back.
Hey, Dan, thanks for having me, buddy.
Absolutely. So, yeah, I mean, it's great to have you on. And so you want to give a little background of what you do, what you did?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely, man. I was an investment banker for almost a decade with a couple of different super regional banks here in the Southeast, and did that for a while. Had my lights turned on and got out of it when I could. So.
Oh, nice. So now I contacted you. It was like just yesterday. So I don't know if you're caught up with the cryptocurrency and everything else, the digital currency and all that. So I've been on ICT and all that, and we were both to say we should bring Rob Blackwell on because he would know a lot of good stuff about this. So so what is your take on this digital currency going on all over the place?
Oh, dude, I'm telling you, man. It's going to be really interesting. I believe, look, I could be dead wrong. I, follow this stuff very, very closely for many, many hours every single day. But there's still a chance I could be wrong. But I believe that our next stimulus package will come in the form of some sort of digital dollar, which is going to make the price of everything skyrocket.
Yeah, I had the same thought myself, and I'm glad you said that because you know a lot better than this stuff than I do, and that was my thought too. That's why Nancy Pelosi keeps delaying the matter, and I think they got plans. All right, we'll give it to you, whatever, no problem. Probably give you a little bit more, but here it's going to be in the form of a digital currency.
I believe so. I also believe that they will set spending time limits on it. Mm-hmm. So, for example, if it gets passed in everything in January, which I think is probably towards the end of January is kind of what I'm hearing now. Again, they could do it tomorrow. I don't know. But with the election, with this new judge being appointed, all this stuff, I think the Democrats are not going to allow it to happen right now. I don't think the Republicans want it to happen right now either because it's way more than they want to actually spend. Put it this way, they're at one point, the negotiating right now, they're at $1.9 trillion, the Republicans are. Democrats are at $2.2 trillion for a total bill. So they're $300+ billion apart. If the Republicans sweep everything in November, in January, they will get to pass their what's called skinny bill, which is $500 billion. So, I mean, we're talking a massive amount of money any way we look at it, but I don't think either party wants it done right now. And I think the cover story is exactly what I told you. I think behind the scenes, a part of the nuts and bolts and the workings of it is, they're trying to figure out how to implement this with like a Federal Reserve token or something like that they send you via a card, and then you spend it with certain retailers in a certain time. So if they pass it at the end of January, you'll probably have till the 15th of March to spend it.
Oh man, you mean I can't buy guns and ammo with it?
See, that's what they're trying to prevent, I believe. That they're wanting to stimulate not that economy, but the television economy, the car economy. We looked at numbers in July that said a lot of people, and when I say a lot, millions and millions and millions of people actually paid off debt with their stimulus. That's not what they want, because when you pay off debt, you lose dollars, because dollars are debt. And so when you end up paying your debt off and don't owe it to anyone, dollars are not created, therefore it does not stimulate the economy.
Oh, wow. So, yeah, I guess that's what they want.
It's really fascinating. So if you pay off debt, you don't owe interest, right?
Yep.
Dollars can't be created if there's no interest owed. And so, so anyway, they're trying to retool this, but they're trying to set rules and limitations on how you spend your money, which to me, and I say your money, that's really subjective, but how you spend the money, which to me is more concerning than anything, because now the government is telling you how, just like with healthcare, just like with, all this stuff, they're telling you how to spend money. That is not the government's job.
Oh, wow. So basically people want to pay their rent, the old rent, whatever the case, it might not be possible to do that.
I sincerely doubt it. Again, I could be dead wrong, but if you don't accept some sort of cryptocurrency, you're not going to be allowed to shop there. So today, JP Morgan came out and reversed its stance on cryptocurrency. Let me tell you just a 1 minute backstory about JP Morgan. JP Morgan's CEO, Jamie Dimon, actually said if he caught any of his employees trading Bitcoin, he would fire them on the spot. Now they've doubled down on a reversal, which says, hey, we're actually creating our own, go flip and figure, right?
Wow.
We're actually creating our own digital currency, and they're buying a ton of Bitcoin. They're doing all this other stuff. That was announced today. PayPal last week announced, hey, we're going to allow you to start trading in Bitcoin. PayPal, the largest payment service on the face of the planet, is now allowing people to purchase items with Bitcoin.
Wow.
So yes, it is coming very rapidly.
Wow, and when at the beginning of the show here, I was talking about the Bahamas moved to a digital currency, the sand dollar, and it's like, because the U.S. and China were battling for that, and now I guess Bahamas jumped the gun on that, and so now you got Canada, Japan, all these other countries talking about, even the Federal Reserve Chairman, Jerome Powell, saying we need a digital currency to keep up with the market and everything.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, and, unfortunately, just because I like or dislike something doesn't mean it's not going to happen or it's going to happen, right? Just that caveat. But I don't like that it's going to happen, but he is exactly right. To be able to keep up with any sort of world economic foundation, you're going to have to deal in Bitcoin. And what you read from Revelation earlier should scare everyone half to death, because now, it gets to what we just talked about. The government is now enforcing what kind of money you can use.
That's crazy.
But they started it. Look, and you and I both know they started it when they started, saying, "Oh, well, we have a coin shortage." No one talks about the fact that they don't print coins after like May. Okay, when they stamp out all these coins, they make them all in the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
And so all these coins are already made. It's the distribution that got, kind of wonky, right?
Yeah.
So we look at that. So now let's take a step back. Who makes the coins? Well, the Federal Reserve does not make the coins. The United States Treasury makes the coins. The Federal Reserve makes dollar bills, right?
Yep.
But the catalyst there is the Federal Reserve controls the distribution of the coins. So when they didn't want the coins around, i.e. when they wanted to eliminate their competition, right, the Treasury, they said, oh, coins first. We're not shipping any more coins.
Wow, and I used to work for a car company. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. I was going to say, they've already started this, telling us when, how, where, all this good stuff to spend their money. And I'm sorry for cutting you off, but
No, that's all right. I used to work for a car company, man, and I was just thinking the implications of this happening, right? There's many car companies across the country alone, in North America at that. Got Goddard, all that stuff, the companies, whatever, across the Brinks and all these other companies. And what would that do? It's like no more cash now. You don't need, as a store owner or whatever, financial owner, whatever the case, you're not going to need armed guards to come get this cash out of your store, to safely bring it to the bank, because it goes to digital, it's all digital. So how many jobs is that going to put out? And all the implications going to happen, man, the ramifications. Just say, yeah, you need your car fixed, right? And hey, your brother's a mechanic, does it on the side. You say, I'll give you $50 to fix my brakes, all right? Where's that going to lead? Now where the control comes in this, it's like now they see currency exchange with the digital, right? of course, the IRS is going to step in. Why are you paying them $50? Oh, for services. All right, we're going to tax them. Then the state might step in and say, all right, well, what's this? Is he ASE certified mechanic? Oh, no, not really. So guess what? We're going to revoke your inspection until you go to a regular mechanic and get that fixed. You know what I mean? I could see long list. Yep.
Yeah, and you don't like it? Well, the software that we have in your car, we're going to kill the car.
Yep.
We're going to kill the car until you get it fixed by the person we say you get it fixed by. No, look, this kind of thing has been coming for a long, long time. We are rapidly approaching, and I believe, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, I believe it's too late.
Yeah.
I believe it's too late to stop any of this. And so, yes, you're going to, if I don't give financial advice anymore, I don't do any of that. Some people on YouTube say don't listen to anything I say, you'll lose all your money. Okay. Having said that, if you are not bartering at this point, you need to start. And when I say bartering, I don't mean like trading cash. I mean, if you're not providing some kind of good or service for someone in exchange for something else, you're gonna miss the boat. That's the only way you're gonna stay out of the system.
Oh yeah, and think about yard sales, flea markets, tag sales, garage sales, what have you. Those would be a thing of the past. I mean, because how you gotta, you know what I mean? Anything like that. You know what I mean? Paying your niece to babysit your children. Anything like that. Yeah, I mean, what's gonna happen? You know what I mean? You're gonna have to get certified. The whole same thing with the car deal. I mean, this is uncanny, man. And people think, oh, it's such a good idea. Technology make it easier. You know, I mean, they already been beta testing this for a long time. But the thing is, you gotta look at the, it takes your freedom away of spending. It really does.
Yes, it does. And all these struggles that we're seeing right now. Look, Martin Luther King said it best in his book, Why We Can't Wait. These struggles are not struggles against the color of a skin or a socioeconomic class or any of that. They're struggles for opportunity. That's all this is. Freedom is struggle for opportunity. That's all this is. And they are taking that away. And when I say they, I mean world governments are taking our freedom or our opportunity to make something of ourselves. They're taking that away.
Absolutely. And I was talking about, I read some of the headlines, and this was back in April, how Congress has now introduced 32 new crypto and blockchain bills. And I don't know what's going on with the status of these bills, but it's House of Representatives and the U.S. Senators have introduced a total of 32 bills in the 116th Congress. And on cryptocurrency, this digital currency. So I don't know what the status is, and it shows to me that there's bipartisan support. And the question is, will President Trump, because President Trump's a businessman, is he going to go along with this too? You know what I mean? And I don't know, man. A lot of questions.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So the only hope that we have of anonymity in our spending with cryptocurrency is Bitcoin. That's why they're trying to take it over legislatively now. They are the ones that want to hold all the Bitcoin while it's their own version of a coin, right? Mm-hmm. So it's the thing. When you think of that, you need to think of the pallets of cash that got sent via airplane to the Middle East under the administration, right? Yep. So the reason they want to get rid of cash, quote unquote, is because it carries the virus, right? Mm-hmm. One thing that no one's mentioning, and no one will mention, is during my bank training, like day one, when I was in there, I learned that every single bill that you touch, even if they're brand new, have trace amounts of cocaine on them. Every single one. How does that happen?
Wow.
I mean, it's astonishing, man, when you think of it. So look, they're saying it's dirty. They're saying that people, are using it anonymously to hide crimes, and yes, that does go on. I'm not saying it doesn't, but you're not going to be able to do that with a government or a sovereign-issued cryptocurrency. You're also not going to be able to, just like you said, go to a yard sale or Facebook Marketplace. What do you think it's going to do to Facebook Marketplace? You're going to have to buy it online before you even see the item. Like, what is that?
What about Craigslist and eBay and Amazon? You know what I mean? I'm sure Amazon will adjust to it, but I mean, that's kind of crazy, man.
Well, when Amazon jumps on board, like and I predict, again, could be totally wrong. Don't listen to me, but I think before the end of the year, Amazon will be forced to jump on board. It's moving that rapidly.
Yeah. And Jeff Bezos, yeah, he'll do anything to keep his, and he'll do anything to keep, put people like eBay and Facebook Market out of business too, to make him a conglomerate. And I really think Jeff Bezos is going to jump on board with this cryptocurrency.
He has to. He has no choice. And so when you look at that, and then I was on a show a couple weeks back talking about cryptos. I don't know a ton about cryptos. I've learned a lot more in the past couple weeks, but what I do know, so the cryptos that I trade, they weren't really even cryptos. They were ETFs of cryptos, right? They were like Wall Street versions of cryptos. And dude, even those things have gone through the roof. It's been ridiculous. But once Amazon jumps on board, and again, my thing is by the end of the year, if it doesn't happen, then it doesn't happen. But I think it's moving that rapidly. Mm-hmm. If it doesn't happen by then, it'll be soon thereafter. Once they jump on board, you will know that's you walking into the mine and the canary's dead, dude. It's over. You can't stop it from there.
Exactly, man. And this is going global. Now, crypto compliance for exchange is one of the financial reports. It says central bank digital currencies have power to append global finance, and it says an astonishing 80% of the central banks are engaged in, that's 80% of the central banks around the world, are engaged in work around central bank digital currency for research and experimentation pilot programs known as beta tests. You know what I mean? So, we just read the headlines, and there's more. I mean, I've been covering this for a few months now, and countries all over the world, they're doing beta test pilot programs, whatever the case. We heard about China giving that all that money out to the cryptocurrency to people to spend to see how it would work. You know what I mean? So, all these pilot programs are going everywhere, man. And so we're right around the corner. I really believe that we're right around the corner from this. And what's going to happen even if President Trump doesn't like this, since you say the world's markets now all digital currency, we're not going to have any choice but to do that because we won't no longer be competitors on the global market no more.
So if they ever make a digital currency like the world reserve currency, mm-hmm. if the paper dollar gets replaced by a digital currency, it's Katie bar the door, man.
Yep.
It's like you better go in your bunker. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's bad news. Look, I'm not saying cryptocurrencies themselves are bad, and I think you alluded to it before. Mm-hmm. I think it's a part of the system. I think the mark is a system, man. I don't think it's only just a mark that would. I think it's a system. There has to be an infrastructure behind the mark, I believe.
Yeah, there's many components involved with it. Because it's not just the cryptocurrency. I mean, you got the healthcare. Because remember, they talk about how we got to keep track of who's got what vaccines. They were talking about a Lucifer stamp, but they said, well, there's a problem with that. That Lucifer ink stamp is only going to last 4 or 5 years. Then, then they talk about the digital ID with the ID 2020 program. And you're going to have all these apps and all that stuff, the ID, the this, that, the COVID apps. And so they're going to say one time when all this is in place, you know what, to eliminate all those apps, all those tattoos, all those things on your phones, we're just going to move to one simple thing, the RFID implant, which keeps track of everything all at once. And bam, that's the mark of the beast.
Yeah, exactly. And so, like quantum computing, one big thing I've been leery of, like with Bitcoin is, okay, well, I go through a computer about every 3 years. I do a lot of video, I do a lot of audio, I do a lot of stuff on my computers. I just kind of wear them out. And so, what happens if I lose my computer or my hard drive crashes or something? And so, why do you think quantum computing is going to be such a big deal? Because that kind of stuff's not going to happen anymore, right?
Yeah.
And so you're not going to have a hard drive to crash. You're not going to have the moving parts to actually go away and get worn out. With these computers, they're going to last forever, man. Theoretically speaking. And so, dude, I'm telling you, man, this is really, really, really scary stuff. people need to start preparing their minds and their hearts right now
Absolutely.
to be faced with some turmoil over the next, I would say, 6 months.
Yeah, and the thing is too, Infowars, all these major shows out there, nobody's talking about this stuff, and because it's an inside issue, it's a little stock market thing, nobody even pays attention to it, and that right there is where that's the heartbeat of the world per se, you know what I mean? So nobody's paying attention to that. Everybody's caught up with the elections. Now, I'm not saying elections and all that are not important, absolutely, but right now they got so much stuff out there. The global elite, they're hitting us on every angle, every front, every flank, and it's hard to keep up with everything. In their credit, you know what I mean? But this here, right under our noses, man, we're going right under the table, and not just here in the United States, but all over the world, man. And we don't know what's going to happen. It's like since they moved to the digital currency, you got the sand dollar, the yuan, the American, Federal Reserve money. So they're going to say it'll be a lot more easier. Say, you know what? We're going to, since it's digital now, let's move to a one world global currency, and it's a flip of a switch. Bang, just like that. Instead of issuing different currencies out, pulling this one in, in the coins and cash, and saying, you know what, it's digital now, one world government, bam, just a flip of a switch, and all of a sudden, now your dollar's not a Federal Reserve dollar no more, now it's a global bank dollar right there.
That's right. Well, and so why do you think, I don't know about you guys up in New England, but I know, down here, a lot of the mom and pops, man, they're just not making it. They're going out of business. And why do you think they're doing that now? Because those are the ones that give cash discounts, right? Those are the ones that you go to church with, and hey, you get the friends and family discount on everything you buy, right?
Yep.
Well, they're running them out of business so that these people can then accept the digital currency, so they can track exactly when and how and what and all that good stuff of what you're doing.
Yeah, and our governor here in Rhode Island, Gina Raimondo, Council on Foreign Relations member, by the way. Anyway, she was given $1.5 billion by the government, President Trump, to distribute amongst the small business in Rhode Island. She hasn't at all dipped into that. We have hundreds of businesses who just went out of business, and I've been encouraging them to take up lawsuits because she was given the money to help them out, and she's not doing that. She wants to use it to try to settle the state deficit, whatever the case. But this is just total criminal what's going on. People, I've seen businesses up on Federal Hill. It's a famous Italian place, you know what I mean? And businesses have been there for God knows how long. Traditional Italian family places gone now because they can't survive, because now, not just because of that, but also the restrictions, and they're complete draconian, and just, it's okay to pack 300 people in Walmart, 500,000 people in the casinos, no problem, because it's state revenue. But the small business, the restaurants, you can't have more than 5 people in there. And how these waitresses are supposed to make a living, you know what I mean? So many people are suffering big time.
That's right, man. Well, and look, man, did you see Governor Newsom in California?
Yep.
The mandates they've set forth on the California website, the state webpage, for Thanksgiving, you can have no more than 3 households in a house at one time. And it even gives an example. It says if you have 3 children and they're all married, only 2 of them are allowed in your household. Like, they're doing that, but holding back billions of dollars. I mean, the writing's on the wall, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
and people better start waking up to the fact that you're going to wake up one morning to a knock, and it's going to be someone at your door saying, look, if you don't take this shot, you're either going to jail or you go bye-bye and no one ever knows what the heck happened to you.
All right, you got Bill Gates and Dr. Fauci saying that people should be given, listen, you got to take this vaccine and that's it, or you got to go to jail, get heavy fines. You know what I mean? And you're not going to be able to go to work or school, and what they're going to do next too is they're going to go targeting religious exemptions. They did that in New York years ago, and here in Rhode Island we still have it, thank God. But they're gonna go start targeting religious exemptions, and because they want everybody to take this draconian shot, man. And I'm not taking it. And it's the same thing's gonna play when it's comes time for the digital currency and eventually the mark of the beast. You know what I mean? Which we know the scripture says what happens with that. And so like you said, the writing's on the wall, man.
Well, I'm telling you, I mean, look, go look at any. Even some mainstream, but especially Fox News, go look there and tell me what's happening to Jewish neighborhoods in New York right now. They're getting absolutely bombarded with police on Sabbath and during their meetings, right?
Yep.
They're getting bombarded with police officers, arresting them for having more than 10 people in their homes, okay? Like, it has started. This is happening in America right now as we speak. People had better wake up.
And you can't sing in churches in California. Now in Massachusetts, my brother sent me a text, so you got an emergency alert, saying some of the same thing you said about restrictions, about the Thanksgiving, the same exact stuff actually, and saying if you're going to sing, keep it lower than a normal speaking voice with the mask on. You know what I mean? So they're attacking the churches big time in California and New York. I mean, it's complete draconian what they're doing. And, you know, the Attorney General of the United States is telling people to file lawsuits, you know what I mean? But, you know, not enough people are doing that. But, however, we see, I mean, you never thought in the United States' history, the very first thing, the very first fundamental right in the Bill of Rights is your religious rights that not even Congress can't make a law against. So what makes these governors think they can, you know what I mean? And nobody's challenging them, you know what I mean? That's the sad part.
That's right. And like you said, look, if you're in a state that's listening to this, if you're in a state right now that has some of these mandates, you need to call all around and find a free speech lawyer in your state to take this up as a class action lawsuit. And it needs to be filed this week.
Absolutely.
The time is now to stand. I don't know what good it's going to do, but when I look my kids in their eyes, and they look at me and I can see they're wondering about future events, I want them to know what it is to stand up for something that you believe in. And the time is now, folks. It's now to do this, okay? Do whatever you got to do. Look, if it means you quitting your, Fortune 500 job, like, look, the time's now, okay? Like, that Fortune 500 job is going to do you no good when they start paying you in cryptocurrencies and they're only allowing you to shop at Walmart, Target, Sam's Club, and, these things that you don't even really want to shop at to begin with, right? It's going to do you absolutely no good. So, the time for being comfortable is over. It's done. It's time to get out. It's time to start making your voices heard. You can do that, of course, with voting, but it's time to go and start doing things that counteract the actions that the government is taking right now.
Absolutely. Resistance is victory. You know what I mean? The thing is, just the very act of resistance, that's a victory in itself. So what, you fail here and there, but, if you fail, like the revolution, right? How many battles did we lose? Tons of battles. We lost most of the battles, but when we won that big one, that was the most important, and that was the key battle to win the war. So it doesn't matter how many battles you lose, it's the perseverance to keep fighting and standing up for what's right, and eventually we will win, and we know we win in the end. Jesus wins in the end when he comes back and takes care of this, but we know Bible prophecy, because people say, well, you're trying to divert Bible prophecy. No, I'm not. The Bible says this is going to happen, but it does not say to lay down to it and be slaves to it, to stand up and resist it at all costs. That's what Scripture teaches us, to resist the mark of the beast, resist this global government, and, plain and simple, even if it means our lives, we're going to resist it to the, our dying breath if we have to.
Well, and you know how we get our robes of righteousness, right?
Yep.
I mean, Revelation is very clear. It's those who have the testimony of Yeshua, Jesus, those who have that, and it's those who keep the commandments, right? And if someone is subverting your ability to keep the commandments, you must fight that.
Yep, Revelation 14:12. I use that verse a lot.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And so, look, I'm not advocating for armed resistance. That's futile. I mean, come on, people. But look, you can go and you can file a lawsuit. You can go grab a bullhorn and stand on the busiest corner of your neighborhood. You can tell all your friends, hey, what are we going to do when they come and knock on our doors, right? When they try to quarter soldiers, if you will, in our homes, and more importantly, in our bodies, when they try to inject us with God, right? So anyway, long story short, time is now to go ahead and get active with this stuff and start speaking out against the stuff that's coming down. Because I'm afraid this time next year, we will have lost massive grounds on the ability to be able to speak out.
Absolutely, and you know they know that because it goes in with the guns too. They know they failed miserably against for the gun control. So what they're gonna do with this too, like you were saying about how they're gonna control what you can and can't buy. Just say, oh, we're not gonna allow gun stores to accept this currency. So bam, you know what I mean. Now you can't buy ammo, you can't buy guns no more, and you know what I mean. It's gonna be complete draconian, especially God forbid if Joe Biden gets in, and you stick the fork in it.
Well, let me tell you. Look, I've got inside baseball on some of that, Dan.
Yep.
Part time, I work for a gun store just because the owner goes to church with me, and we have a good time. I love shooting and all that good stuff. Always have. Grew up doing it. The new form that you have to fill out for the background check that you have to submit for purchasing a firearm is called the form is called a 4473 form. Okay. They have updated that form as of October this year. October 1st, you were absolutely required to use it. The name of the gun manufacturer, the serial number, all that good stuff is on the same page now as your name and address and, all your pertinent information, height, weight, social security number, all that stuff. It's on the same page now. You know what that means, don't you?
Registration.
That is the closest thing. Yes, that is the closest they can get to a national registration without actually having to make it one.
Wow.
It is, I'm telling you, these folks are extremely smart. They are very, very clever. It's folks like you and me that kind of are aware of what they're doing, right?
Yep.
So I'm telling everyone, look, if you shoot a gun, if you own a gun, I don't care if your great-grandfather gave it to you and it hangs on your wall. Doesn't matter. If you own a gun, you need to write your representative tonight. Do not go to bed on this. You need to write your representative and say, look, I know what the ATF is trying to do with these forms. They are trying to nationally register our guns, and we are not going to stand for it.
Absolutely.
I told my representative I love the guy. He's actually one of my children's doctors. All right. I told him, if this stuff comes to pass, I will single-handedly make sure he does not get voted back in.
Good.
I will quit work. I will do everything, and I will make sure that he does not get reelected. Why? Because this is important. The First Amendment is there for speech, freedom of religion, all that other stuff. The Second Amendment is there in case the first one doesn't work out.
Yep.
Okay. so long, and that's stolen from Dave Chappelle, by the way. The long story short is, look, these things that they're going up against, they're hiding them in plain sight. You must be awake, you must be aware, and you must take action now.
Absolutely. Yeah, you're right, man. Because we're seeing it. And again, they got all these distractions out there, and this is going right under the table, man. And people don't realize the severity of it. If you talk to the average person, who cares? It ain't bad. But everything we discussed today, man, and there's more. You know what I mean? And all the implications that could come upon it, and the central banks now. When you go back even to the founding fathers, how many of them warned us not to even get involved with the central bank because it takes our freedoms away as a people from controlling our own gold and money? You know what I mean? And there's Thomas Jefferson. I forgot the quotes. I should have printed them out, but tons of quotes because they've seen this happen in Europe. How the Rothschild and all them took over the banks over there, and so they try to warn us here. Prior to the Federal Reserve coming.
Look, we had a president who swore to his dying breath, okay, that the revolution and the War of 1812 was started by bankers.
Yep.
You know what his epitaph says? I killed the banks. It's on his headstone. That president was Andrew Jackson.
Wow. I didn't even know that. That's crazy.
Okay, so it's fascinating. The Federal Reserve, they're so passive aggressive, and that's why I'm telling you, these people are brilliantly smart. They are very, very, very highly intelligent, way smarter than I am. They put that mug's face on the $20 bill. That is the most circulated bill in our currency right now.
Wow. It's like a blatant smack in our faces, basically.
That's exactly right, Dan. That's exactly right. It's a game to them.
Yep.
Look, I'm not playing games anymore. I'm done.
Yeah.
Like, we need to get active. We need to get vocal. We need to say, look, we know what you're doing, and we don't like it. I don't consent to this.
Yeah, and we need to stand up hard against this, loud and hard. And if you, so I tell people, if we, yell out, we stand up, and if your voice is not heard, yell louder, and keep yelling louder until your voice is heard. Even when it is heard, yell louder even more. You know what I mean? And that's what you got to do, because these globalists, like, they got all the money in the world, they got all the time in the world, they got think tanks working 24 hours a day to try to dismantle our whole economy. And it starts with the currency and everything. If you control the money, you can control the people. You know what I mean? Hit them where it hurts in the stomach. Where you can't feed your families, and that's how. I forgot who was said that about. One of the bankers there said about the people accepting the New World Order. They'll beg for it because they'll make everybody go hungry and everything else, and people stop begging for a New World Order. So it's crazy, man.
And look, they've had hundreds of years to do this. Okay, how the Rothschild family got so big into banking is when Napoleon lost the Battle of Waterloo. The Rothschilds owned the media at the time, and they reported that he had won and that the English had lost, and stock prices went through the basement, if you will, right?
Yep.
Plummeted 95%. Who bought all the stocks?
Rothschild.
I mean, look, they've had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years to do this deed. They're finally doing it. Look, they played 100-year games. That's what they do. We're going to be on the receiving end of it.
Yep.
And God help our children. Man, I've got 3 kids, man. Like, I'm sitting here thinking, like, what did we do bringing kids into this world?
Yeah.
Man?
I got an 8-year-old son, and I was thinking that the other day. I'm like, wow, poor kid. Yeah.
Like, if we don't stand up, he doesn't have a chance.
Yep. Yeah, one of the final five, I keep quoting these people, but I keep forgetting who it was, but says if there's to be war that happened in my generation, so my kids' generations can live in freedom. So I say the same thing myself. We need to make the sacrifice now, so our children, your children, Rob, my child, they can live in freedom. You know what I mean? That we grew up in.
Look, I want them to be talking about how their fathers, when they meet one day, I want them to be able to talk about how their fathers stood up so they didn't have to, right? Mm-hmm. And that's kind of my message now to folks. It's not like, hey, let's move your money here. No. That's done, man. All that, you can do that, but it's totally irrelevant if you're moving money and you're moving it within the sandbox they tell you to move it in. Mm-hmm. It's totally irrelevant. It means nothing.
Yep. So we got 2 minutes left, Rob, on the show here. Sorry to cut you off. We got 2 minutes left. I got the signal from the producer. So if you want to close out, man, give some address, website, whatever that people can reach you at, and whatever the case. And I want to thank you for coming on.
Oh, Dan, it's my pleasure. I always enjoy talking to you. You have such interesting insight. Yeah, if people want to get up with me and find out how they can act, how they can get through to maybe their congressman or whatever, I'm glad to help them out with that. If you go to Rob Blackwell Music, by vocation, I'm a musician now. If you go to Rob Blackwell Music on Facebook, you can hit me up there. I accept messages there. We'll chit chat again. I don't give financial advice, so please don't ask me anything financially speaking with your situation. But you want to talk about kind of macro level stuff, what's happening. I'm glad to do that.
Yeah, and I appreciate it, man. And the guys from NWO TV told me to tell you hello too and shalom. And once again, brother, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. And I'm sure we're going to be talking again because this stuff's going to be rolling out like real quick before we even could bat an eye. And, you know what I mean? We're going to be looking to people like you to give us some insight on this. So thank you, Rob. God bless you, man.
Well, you too, brother. Anything you need, let me know. Stay safe out there, okay?
You too, sir. Thank you. And that was Rob Blackwell, folks. Reach him. I'm going to put the links because I'm recording it. It's going to go up on my YouTube. So go to truthradioshow.com for my other shows. And once again, thank you all right here at 990wbob.com. This is Dan Bidondi for the Dan Bidondi Show. We will see you next time. God bless, shalom, and you are the resistance.
The preceding program contained views, opinions, and thoughts that do not necessarily represent those of 990 WBOB, its management, or its staff. So now you know.